Hello students. Today we are going to study the fourth poem of our syllabus, and the title of the poem is A Thing of Beauty, and it is written by John Keats. Something about the poet first. John Keats, 1795 to 1821, was a British romantic poet. Although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. Keats' secret, his power to sway and delight the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. The following is an excerpt from the poem Endymion, a poetic romance. The poem is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmus, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess. The enchanted youth resolved to seek her out, and so wandered away through the forests and down under the sea. So you get a little idea about what this poem is going to be about. Before I start explaining the poem line by line, let me say a few words, a few lines about this poem. The title of the poem itself is one of the most quoted lines of English literature. In this poem, the poet talks about the role of beauty, the significance of beautiful objects and sights in our life. In short, the poet says that a beautiful thing is a permanent source of joy, and it is so powerful that it can remove, in fact, it removes all our sadness, all our despair, disappointment, dejection, and so on. And not only that, it fills us with joy, it fills us with delight, and it gives us new hope for living our life with positive outlook towards life. And he also says that this world, though is full of negative things, yet it has such beautiful things in it as can remove the negativities and make the life worth living. If we see all around us, we can find in nature so many objects that we can call the things of beauty, like the sun, the moon, daffodils, clear rills, then musk rose, and small trees, etc. He says the beautiful things are not only scattered and spread in nature, but there are certain things related to human beings also which are beautiful, like the stories that we hear about the heroic deeds and tragedies of our great ancestors, the grand heroes of the past, and the folklores that we hear about our heroes of the past, the legends that we hear, they are also a source of permanent joy, and that is why they are also beautiful. They are like the immortal fountain that flows in heaven. And though we, the human beings, are not entitled to the immortal drink, yet we get the test of immortality through these beautiful objects. So in a nutshell, we can say that beautiful objects, beautiful scenes and sights, beautiful memories and faces, they all make our life worth living. They all fill us with positive outlook and attitude towards life. And it is the things of beauty it is a thing of beauty that plays a very significant and important role in our life. So let's start the poem. I'll read a few lines first, and then I'll try to explain those lines one by one. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and asleep, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways, made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make gainst the hot season, the mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from heaven's brink. So, the very first line, as I have already mentioned, that the title itself, that is the first line also, is one of the most quoted lines of English literature. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Talking about the significance of beauty, the poet says that a thing of beauty is a permanent source of joy. It is an eternal source of joy. Right? It is a never-ending source of joy, everlasting source of joy. Whatever you want to say, you can. Right? See, one thing I should mention here is that the poet is in search of ideal beauty, and only ideal beauty is a permanent source of joy, because physical beauty it withers away, it fades away with the passage of time. But the ideal beauty, that is a permanent source of joy, because it neither withers away nor fades away, right? So the poet says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I have already explained. Further, he says, its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. The poet says, with the passage of time, the loveliness, the fascination, the charm, the attraction of beautiful objects, that is ideal beauty. I need not repeat that phrase, ideal beauty, time and again. You should understand it, right? Its loveliness increases. It means with the passage of time, the charm of such beautiful objects increases. And this is the identity mark of a thing of beauty that is ideal, right? He says its loveliness increases. You see that the things of physical beauty lose their charm, lose their beauty with the passage of time. It can only be ideal beauty whose loveliness will increase with the passage of time, right? So its loveliness increases with the passage of time. It will never pass into nothingness. It means it will never turn into a thing of nothing. It means, let me simplify it. It means it will never lose its value. It will never lose its value or its significance or its importance, right? So first three lines, let me summarize here for you. Again, I'll be talking about an object of ideal beauty, because the poet has composed this poem in the same sense. A thing of beauty is a permanent source of joy. With the passage of time, its loveliness increases, and it will never lose its value or importance or significance in our life, right? So what will it do, or what can we compare it with in our life? The poet says, but will keep a bower quiet for us. Bower is a shady place under trees. Clear? So bower is a quiet and peaceful place. First thing. Second thing, and a sleep full of sweet dreams. Third thing, and health. And fourth thing, quiet breathing. Right? So the poet says a beautiful object is as pleasant as a bower. Right? A beautiful object is as pleasant, as quiet and peaceful and relaxing as a bower. A beautiful object is as sweet as a sleep full of sweet dreams. Third, it is as pleasant as good mental health, and it is also quite relaxing, right? So let me do it again for you. The poet says a beautiful object will never lose its value. Why? Because it is as soothing and relaxing, peaceful and quiet as a bower. It is as sweet as a sweet dream in our sleep. Third, it is as pleasant as good mental health. And fourth, it is as relaxing as quiet breathing. So I think these lines are clear. Let's move on a little more. Now the poet says, therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. The poet says the love for nature is embedded in us. It is deep rooted love for nature that is there in all of us. How can we say? How is he claiming this? The poet says, therefore, on every morrow, morrow means morning, are we reading? Reading means preparing or making garlands, right? A flowery band. Flowery band, reading a flowery band means making or preparing garlands. What for? To bind us to the earth, to bond, to show our bonding, to show our attachment to the earth, to show our fascination and fascination for the beauty of earth, for the beauty of nature, right? So in poets' time, or even in our houses or in our families also, what happens, especially for worship purpose, our elderly members of our family, what do? They wake up in the morning, take bath, and make flowery band, make a flowery band or garland to offer to gods and goddesses. What for? What does it show? It definitely shows that we consider that these are the most beautiful things all around us, and they should be offered as the best possible things to our gods and goddesses, one thing in our society. But the poet says, in his society, there might have been or may have been a tradition of making garlands in the morning, right? And what does it show? The poet says it only shows that we have deep love for the beauty of nature. That is why we prepare garlands every morning. And this act of preparing garlands every morning connects us, attaches us, or shows our attachment and connection and deep-rooted love for nature, right? So, in order to keep this video short, I would like to stop it here, and we shall study the poem further in the next video. So I hope it will help you understand the poem. Thank you very much.
Pause button.